This
Uh,
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah,
you
just
might
I
put,
don't
I would,
have either. I think I can. I had to ask Scott. So if you
okay.
request the access, I don't know, somehow he was saying that the default access should be there, but it's not. So maybe we need to save it as something else or a new document. I don't know what it is,
No,
but
yeah. The way it works is he just needs to set the sharing permissions correctly. It should be doable. So, uh, if he needs help, I can talk him through it. It's no big deal. Or if he just gives me edit access to it, I'm happy to go fix it.
so I think anyone, okay, so it's restricted right now. Oh, because you know why? He's he's I think created that as his Dell account, and Dell IT has different rules for Google Drive than
Then
OCP. So
OCP.
that is probably why. What I can try to do is to maybe create a different version of it. But in the
Or,
meantime, let
what you can do is just say copy and then save it in the OCP drive. And if
yeah.
you save a copy in the OCP drive, anyway, we don't need to waste everyone's time on that. But I can help you offline.
Yeah, why don't we, yeah, it's 7 minutes past. Why don't we get started? So, hey, welcome, Alam. I saw your message, a new member. Very warm welcome
Thank
to
you.
the group.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. I look forward to learning and hopefully at some point starting to contribute. So just in listening mode for now.
That's Perhaps you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Anil, did you say introduce myself? Happy to.
Yeah,
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I recently joined Proteantex. I'm director of product marketing. I had another representative from our company, Ofer Abramson, that I think used to be part of this group. I'm not sure how active he was. Okay, I see Drew shaking his head, so that's
he was
good to
here
know.
pretty regularly. He was pretty
Okay,
consistent.
Yeah.
excellent. So I'll be replacing him. I used to be at Intel. I think Yogesh, I think you're from Intel perhaps as well. Used to be an engineer, and I don't know if you guys know a lot about Proteantex, but we do have some solutions that we think help in the area of from a hardware perspective. So at some point, if you guys allow, I'll be happy to talk about what we do in that space and get your thoughts around, how much it does help and how we might be able to improve it further if needed. So that's a little bit about me. I used to be an engineer back in the day. I switched to product marketing, product management about 5 years back. So I know a little bit about what you guys talk about, but not a lot.
Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Glad you
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the team.
Thank you, Anil.
All right. Thank you very much for the intro, Alam, and again, welcome. Now, I hope everyone saw the messages from groups.io about about that one AR that I had for license agreement that we have in the contributions document. That has been updated. So please feel free to get that reviewed as it's needed by your company's policies. And let me know or Drew or Rama know about any objections or changes that are needed to that language. And then we'll proceed.
Yeah, I think while doing the other contribution, there was a question on which license agreements to use. We got some feedback from OCP. I'll also check that and see if it matches.
and you guys, I'm kind of stuck on my side. Amber is out, Amber Huffman, and I need to work with her. So she'll be back in a week or I think in another week. She's out on
Yeah,
vacation.
I said the deadline is 2 weeks. That's pretty normal if you're trying to do anything that has to do anything legal.
And then 2 weeks is optimistic for me. But
I know, but if we wanted to get this done, and the time is slipping so fast. Last year in Global Summit, we thought, well, let's get this thing through in I was in 2 months, and others said maybe 4, and here we are, 9 months, and they're still counting, right? So yeah, let's get this through.
Yeah.
Hey Scott, you're here. Before you joined, we were talking about the diagram that you had. I made a copy of it. I think the problem was that it's probably on Dell Google Drive, so I made a copy of it in the OCP Google Drive and shared the link. Everyone, you can try this link. It should work because I see everyone has access here.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, you can request and one of us can give you access. Okay,
Oh, good. It worked.
great.
Yeah, I think.
So yeah, I think that I let everyone review that offline and talk about it. In the meantime, we have another topic. Rama, you want to take over, talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it will take 15-20 minutes. There is a OCP initiative.
If
Can you
you
hear
believe
me?
the yeah, Rama, just if you believe veterans of RAS like Mark and Anil, nothing in RAS gets done talked about in 15-20 minutes. So let's try.
No, no. No. I'll present then questions may take more time, and maybe other topic we can discuss about the global summit. Uh, the next topic we can submit preparation for global summit. What are the topics we're presenting from this work group? Okay.
And,
Yeah.
later on,
I
if
was
we have
just
in the magical event that we have more time at the end, I've got some work I did in the air injection document I'd like to talk about. So, but let's go on. I don't mean to step on you, Rama.
that would be a good segment. Rama, you have anything to share, or you're just going to
Yeah,
work
I'm
through this?
sharing. I'm sharing. Give me 1 minute.
I don't see it yet. Anyone else sees what Rama is sharing?
I
No,
think
no.
he's
Oh,
working
you.
on his.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. Can you see it now?
It came up.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think John was there. Yesterday there was a OCP incubation committee review. One of the topic we presented this GPU accelerator RAS specification. Okay. Out of that we asked we're contributing to zero point 0.5 version of spec. There is some legal signing is going on right now to release that spec. Okay, I'll give you little bit overview what is covered in that spec so far, and current deadline to get legally signed is 7/14. What is legal signing is we are trying to open up that spec. All the parties from Google, Microsoft, and Nvidia are giving a clearance to openly release that zero point 0.5 version of spec. Okay.
Hey, Rama.
Yeah.
How does that compare to the RAS API spec we've been working on? There may be a bit of overlap because we were imagining including accelerators in that as well. And
Oh,
who
okay.
is involved in the GPU spec?
What is this? I got the first question. What is the second question?
Who's the Googler involved in this?
Sujay and David. David is more active, and also Sujay.
Can you send me their names so I can look them up? Because I'm not sure. I need to figure out who they are and make sure we're all plugged in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like
uh, uh,
initially,
uh,
I also got why you are not there in that. Yeah, those are the two, and yeah, I'll share their names. And Sujay also contributing on
So,
the.
so Drew, that was the comment made at the IC meeting. And as a matter of fact, for the global summit, there's been a session for this abstract submitted, and of course one for fault management and RAS API. And the direction is have these guys talk to each other and present a single story.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, John. Well, we need to get in sync. Yeah, so that'd be awesome.
Yeah. One of the reason like we want to open up that spec so that there is a lot of like knowledge here, like right, a lot of expertise, right? I think they started initially OCP CLA kind of document. I think some companies wanted to go that approach initially before they open it up. Like once they started that group, then they invited me from Microsoft, and I don't know all the initial setup, what the plan and who are all involved. Now I know like after the RAS topic came from Microsoft, they asked for my help. I was part of the discussions, but I was pushing them to open up that spec, uh, uh, like uh, like so that we get like lot of expertise in this group, right? So that we get all the feedback, okay, uh, and then we can make it as a like zero point 0.7 version of the spec, or like yeah, like a lot of help needed from this group to
Well,
get.
maybe we can find a way to make the two fit together. Uh, we really don't need two. We need
Yeah,
we don't need two competing solutions. So what we need to do is figure out how to make the two become one, so that and I'm not saying get rid of one or the other. Maybe we fold one into the other, but we don't want two specifications for that.
Hey guys, hold
yeah,
up. I don't even know what's in this spec. Can we like
yeah,
it
yeah,
may
yeah, yeah.
completely not
Let's go
overlap with the
what
rest of
is,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
can we just go through it? Yeah.
yeah. Let's go what is in there and how, what are the leverage points, then we can decide how do we like leverage each other or make it one. Yeah, that's good feedback. Okay. I think the motivation is like everybody knows it. I'll just spend first 5 slides very quick fast. Like as you've seen in the last 1 year, the growth of AI is like exponential growth. Okay. And like adopting these solutions, uh, like how do we do faster and efficient adoption, right? And the hyperscalers want to integrate this like uh, as fast as possible, meeting the time to market, uh, what are all the GPUs or accelerators available from different vendors into the infrastructure. And also if a common problem sets are there, okay, want to reduce the engineering efforts. And there is always like each hyperscalers or like enterprise customers build their own value add on top of it, but want to standardize the common problems, which is not a differentiated views. Okay. Some supplier view, like so that generally they get like always different requirements from hyperscalers. They need to support sometimes custom solutions, and this will help to like they can provide a one solution for common problems to adapt to hyperscalers. Okay. Like this is the other view like GPUs, like how hyperscalers can uh, integrate using standard mechanisms, and okay, on the whatever silicon vendor support, they can provide a similar solution, and the hyperscalers can actually try to get a different GPU accelerated from different vendors, and easily adapt. The infrastructure support should be common, not custom to each vendor. I know this problem is still there in the CPU, DPU space and all, right? And some of the work we are doing is a common, like we can leverage. I think that's where uh, like some of the feedback already started, right? Hey, don't do like so many different things for each. We want to have leverage between GPU, CPU, DPUs, any computing processing unit. How do we leverage same standards as much as possible? And the work started with GPU focus initially, okay, and we want to cover like two kind of designs. One is like a discrete, means like a PCIe based GPU devices. How do we manage in hyperscale environment? Other one is like a system level where GPU part of UBB kind of design, okay, and there is a OCP CLA signed in like uh, around 9 months back between NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google to start this work stream. There are three work streams identified: manageability interfaces, OpenBMC, RAS, and firmware update. Okay, I'm talking about RAS portion. Any questions so far? Oh, I don't know. Can you see my screen? Something happened.
We can see your screen, but it is not loading again. It was all
Okay.
white. Your
I don't
screen
know
is
why.
still visible.
We saw PowerPoint crash.
Now it's crashed.
That is a Microsoft. Okay, let me reshare it 1 second. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Uh, like all the three areas are presented to incubation committee to come to contribute the specifications. Like uh, all three areas have like 0.5 or 0.7 spec ready. Okay, and then they want to open it up for like broader so that we get more industry feedback and take that feedback and release the next version of spec based on the feedback and continue to improve on that. Okay. I think I don't want to spend here a lot of time. This is like OCP, what is the compliance for tenants in addition to openness, efficiency. Okay. For the RAS work stream, I think like I know like for CPUs and all, this is going on for many years, right? One difference is like the AI and ML applications, right? It requires some kind of supercomputer, kind of multiple systems. Even with a single mission failure, it interrupts the application performance and it increases the number of checkpointing. And each checkpointing adds a cost and time to train and uh, and the need for RAS solutions it further accelerates. And second thing about the cost associated, right? Number of nodes in service is very critical to run the big models. The need for RAS uh, increases further with this kind of applications, right? Like if you see general GPU, we have like HBM memory, caches, uh, cores, like IO interconnects. In addition to that, on the UBB kind of design, your retimers, FPGAs, and we just common name we are giving like accelerator management controller. This think like a BMC here, right? And then you have a GPU drivers and applications. And then in the infrastructure, you have like all the monitoring of these systems, taking uh, predictive health actions or monitoring the health and doing the repairs and all. Okay. Uh, the scope of the point 0.5 spec is like identifying the GPU AML. What are the goals? high level to run these applications with reduced service interruptions, and how do we improve the TCO to run that. Okay, what are the high level requirements to meet the goals? And the first version of the things, like everybody agreed, all three parties, is like error injection tools. Like is the biggest problem to verify. Like there is always a custom solutions, right? Whether you're getting different tools for HBM or PCIe and GPU core kind of faults, okay, and then different operating environment, like all like three parties agreed to solve the tools problem, and the first work was done on out of band error injection. Okay, part of this spec, like current spec has like around 30 pages, 0.5 version, which provides like deep dive on the redfish schemas on error injection for different errors. Okay, like these are the like goals wise, like these are the three top goals we have, like improve node uptime, serviceability, RCA. This is similar to any kind of RAS solution. Same thing for CPU also, right? How do we build hardware error
So,
resilient? Yeah.
so Rama, are you going to cover the telemetry and side of it, or have you that already, or is that something you're just starting? What it sounded to me like you were saying you do air injection now, and that was the focus so far, that and redfish.
Yeah, the most of the like meat of that, other than like work stream goals requirements, a lot of effort was done on out of band error injection. Okay,
Okay.
and also there is a schemas defined right now, like we define like OCP OEM type redfish schemas. Like we want to make it like work with redfish forum, okay, to make his like full redfish compliant. Okay, once we release the spec, we want to collaborate with the redfish maybe team to make that schemas like yeah, like redfish compliant.
Is that air injection schemas, or
Yes.
is that like more general?
Like the details, in-depth details are error injection schemas. Like
Okay.
how do we, first thing is about error, like first thing is about discovery of the components, like then like how do we specify using out of band where to inject errors. Okay, how do we discover the different devices, identify the devices, and then specifying the attributes for error injection, then defining the redfish schemas. Those are the
Okay.
things covered in the spec. Exact details, I think hopefully once they sign that the document, then we want to open it up by July. Right now the timeline is July 14th. I don't know whether all three parties will sign it, but the ETA is July 14th. Then we'll upload to the OCP, like Google Drive, and then get like we want to go through the spec in detail in next meetings, once it open up, and get feedback and see like other requirements we are capturing for error injection, like is it part of it, or how do we leverage between those two.
Is there anything in this air injection work that we can leverage? Because we've been talking about air injection in the main system as well. It seems like it may be related.
Yes, yes, yeah, there is definitely leverage points. That's why I was pushing this spec to be like June time frame, like to be released 0.5, but going through incubation committee and signing it took some time, and also people have summer holidays right now. Yeah, yeah, I think there is a leverage work. Hopefully by July 14th we have, or July, before July 20th, we have the spec open up and see what can be leveraged. And also we also require a lot of feedback from all these uh, here members. How do we scale this, and there may be some definitely gaps. Okay, and fill the gaps and contribute to 0.7 and 1.0 specs.
Well, and one thing I've been looking at that I wanted to talk about later today is reconciling things like PCI Express's notion of severities um, with the machine's notion of severity, because you could have a fatal error in PCI that's fatal to the link, but not fatal to the machine. And so it seems like maybe there'll be something where we can get their help in making sure that the severities are aligned. And like I've been running with the severities that I think Mark Fletcher defined earlier that we have in our requirement spec. So if we can align on those, that might be really helpful.
Yeah, good feedback. I think, yeah, sometimes even though it says like non-fatal, fatal at PCL level, system level, like even I've
Well,
seen in, yeah,
with PCIe, the link is the center of the universe, so it's fatal to, you might have an error that's fatal to the link, but not fatal to the machine. So,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
the PCIe severities have little to do with, they have some relevance to the system's view of the failure, but not a real strong one. And so I think we need to do some work um, to align them. And also there's a lot of, I think, confusion in the industry about how, or maybe not industry, but there's a lot of flexibility in the PCIe spec for how errors are handled, but we all run the same OSs and the same virtual machines on our devices, and we probably need similar PCIe settings. So there's some room there as well, and that relates to this as well.
I think,
There,
yeah, Anil also did some work. I think he presented. Yeah, I think we should combine your feedback and like Anil can add more. And yeah, there is definitely, and also all the GPU and accelerators, the PCIe number of devices we see on the system. I think a lot of focus required on the PCIe to make a,
yeah, and that's the reason I'm mentioning that is because that's been an area of focus for me recently.
yes,
And it's awesome to hear that someone else is looking at that. And if we can, it shouldn't be too controversial. I mean, like an unsupported request should not crash the machine. There should be some boundaries we can draw, even though that's an uncorrected error. Uh, it's not fatal. So let's
yeah,
define it as such and agree on how it should be handled, because all the OSs do about the same thing with it anyway.
yeah, yeah.
PCI,
We fix those problems. Yeah,
yeah. True, PCI is one of those specifications which almost allows too much flexibility of configuration, and that
Yeah,
could be confusing. I see what you're saying, though. One clarifying question: what do you exactly mean when you say aligning? I mean, link fatal doesn't have to be system fatal. I think you agree with that, right?
right,
Guys,
right. But like,
sorry to sorry
like
to
my
interrupt you.
experience,
Before we jump into questions, can Rama finish all
yeah,
the
yeah.
content?
Yeah, 2 slides. I
yeah,
think
and this ties into what Rama wants it to do anyway, I think. So go ahead. Yeah, yeah, and I'm happy to answer the question later.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like in the next revision, like we want to use this OCP hardware fault management work group weekly syncs actually because like there is a lot of experts here and also we want to avoid like like any kind of parallel efforts or something. And how do we put like I think that feedback we already gave. Like I was pushing like other CLA forum like once the spec is open up, we will use this forum to get additional feedback and like do 0.7 1.0 spec. Okay, that is the main thing. Like once that the document get open up, then how do we cover like more error failure systems like whether silicon vendor specific links and there is GPU errors, core errors, and also need for GPU crash dumps. And I think we talked about PCI error resilience is very critical. And also, how do we have like telemetry standardization for predictive failures? Okay, and those are the things. And maybe we are missing some things. We want to get like this team's feedback and add those. Okay, some of the
Yeah.
coverage.
And some of the predictive stuff maybe we can also leverage between groups, because we have FMFM, and I know HBM is a little different, but some of the accelerators use similar memory technology. So yeah, there's a really interesting discussion we could have there. This is great.
Yes, yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think there is a lot of work going on. How do we like combine the ideas and yeah, even internally also like whenever we put like a GPU accelerator aspect, I get feedback. Oh, why we want to have like separate specs for GPUs? Why can't we have common spec? I think everybody wants to have like one thing like yeah. And the second topic like the errors where we consider right now for point 5 is like memory. We are talking about GPU, SRAM, and HBM memory and PCI errors. There is a lot of PCI devices like PCI switches, networks, retimers, links, and co-internal GPU microcontroller exceptions, and also there is a platform specific errors like UBB design. There is FPGA specific thermal. There is a VNIC connection. A lot of I2C, I3C. Okay, and
I
GPU
have a
interface.
question about that. Is one of the problems I see with GPUs is there's not a great out-of-band connection to the BMC. So, if I want to log from a GPU, there's not always a path. Is that also in your? Oh, it is. Okay, it is in scope. Awesome.
Like we are not standardizing right now, like which interface, physical interface, but there is a manageability, GPU manageability interface spec, one of the other like work stream area right here. If you see here, sorry, I'm switching there is a manageability interface and OpenBMC. Okay, same Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, like making contribution, which talks about a lot of those. Okay, PLDM, Redfish standardization, and like yeah, a lot of work is done in that area. Manageability interfaces.
Okay.
RAS will be using those interfaces. I think I've seen in the industry for especially UBB designs, they are using the USB VNIC kind of interface for the PCA based like different designs. Yeah, that there is another manageability interfaces spec. I think that will plan to release also uh, in this July. Okay, yeah, we can share that and refer to that. What are the interfaces we are trying to use? Okay, and these are all the schemas are already defined for the memory, HBM memory and PCIe. Redfish schemas and what are the attributes to be. There is still some gaps, for example, for memory, address based, physical device location based, the attributes, and there is still more work to be done, but existing schemas are defined for all this. There is implementation appendix which provides the full schema in the point 5 spec. Once it is released, we want to work with Redfish team and make it like not OCP OEM specific schemas. Okay.
Yeah, Raman.
Yeah.
On the previous
And
slide, in this third row, when you talk about GPU core errors, and it says internal microcontroller, are you talking about GPU compute, or this is some other management controller that you're talking about?
GPU compute.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a GPU core. Like there are like thousands of cores, and also there is the firmware calls. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Rama, I have a question based
Yeah.
on this table. Is
Yes.
the intent here to standardize the redfish schemas? Like that's the level at which you're standardizing?
Yeah. For error injection, yes. Like we want to
Okay.
define redfish schemas so that the error injection can be follow for all the GPU and the other accelerators. Yes.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. And the goal of the releasing the spec under OCP in July, ETA is tending towards July 14th or 21st. Okay. And we already presented in incubation committee. John was there and a lot of other 30 people. They gave some good feedback across all 3 work streams. Whereas there is a OCP requires FSA signing of the documents. That is the work in progress. That's what delaying the spec. And yeah, like by global summit, we want to incorporate the feedback from all this. That's why I started this presenting here. Hopefully, July 20th. Before that, we have the spec. We'll share the spec, and there will be a lot of feedback. We want to refine that spec and close the opens and open up for more partners like who are all interested. And yeah, that is the. Any other questions?
So
Hey,
Rama, when
Rama,
do you expect to have regular meetings for this after FSA gets signed? Is it when you start the meetings for this group?
Yeah, like based on like all your feedback, whether we can use a part of the meetings or if required,
Yeah,
same
that
audience.
logistics. So yeah, on that, 2 things, right? So yeah, you're right. I'm going in that direction. So 2 things. One, I don't think there will be any problem with that, having them be part of this meeting, and we can work out those details. But I just wanted to know, when do you expect those meetings to start? If you
Oh
know.
yeah, I think definitely before July 20th, we want to share the document. Okay, aiming for a 14th. Maybe like because global summit is like only like October, but we want to have the 0.7 ready by September first week or something. Okay, like based on the agenda and all your feedback, maybe we can have like 4 or 5 sessions, either part of this meeting or like some part of this meeting. Advantage of this meeting is everybody attends. Like we have a lot of people
Yeah,
from
you have good
Google,
attendance.
AMD, Meta. Yeah. I think I want to use if possible like 2-3 sessions of this meeting to get additional feedback.
And I guess the other thing I would say we probably want to do before Global Summit is reconcile this with RAS API. So I think Antonio's about to start those meetings, and so maybe what we do is invite you all to some of those meetings so that we can get it straightened out before we present something.
Yeah, definitely we can discuss that. I think
I have a question. Is anybody from NVIDIA on this call right now?
They did not join today, but they said they will join in the next review meetings. Any questions I can pass on? There is a.
Yeah, so my question, Rama, how much of this pack is influenced by NVIDIA's existing solution versus Microsoft and Google contributing to this right now? The 0.5, right?
Like, yeah, NVIDIA is very active, okay, and whether the like maybe I don't want to answer their question, but high level, it requires some other changes, okay, in NVIDIA Silicon side, it doesn't support 100%, okay, but they committed it, and and they can provide more answer once they join this call, maybe in July once we start the regular meetings. Okay, I just don't want to answer for them, but they are part of the redfish schemas definitions and all. Does it answer your question like high level, Anil?
What I'm trying to understand, I think yes, to some extent. What I'm trying to understand is this something like NVIDIA has developed these specifications, and now they're trying to push through OCP through Microsoft and Google? Or are they?
No,
it is really like a 3 parties joint efforts.
Yeah. It is like at 3 parties joint efforts, and the hyperscalers little bit pushing them to have a compliance, and they are part of it from initial days. It is not that NVIDIA is pushing for us. That is not accurate.
I mean, this is a good thing. Just to be clear, right? I'm glad that we are bringing this in an OCP. I've been pushing that quite a bit. So, and there are quite a bit of gaps right now that I know of. So hopefully as we open up, right, this discussion, we can influence more.
Yeah,
so that,
yeah.
The vendors can start investigating and improving based on what they have today.
Definitely, Anil. Yeah, definitely. And also like all the feedback from like all this V team members will really help. Like maybe we have covered only few things, and also 0.5 spec is like
Well,
is
and there's
all.
another GPU vendor out there that we want to engage too.
Yeah, that is
So
that is the main
Where?
I'm looking at you, Vilas.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, that is the main purpose of it.
Yeah.
A lot
we
of
want like
work.
wellness and team effort.
A lot of things that at least I have seen, they are very NVIDIA centric implementation. If that's what we are proposing here, then I mean, I'm still okay with that. It's just we want to make sure that we normalize that.
I guess
We
I'll
shouldn't
say
be just thinking what NVIDIA has done it.
yeah.
Well, this is John. So insofar as they align to the Redfish specification, which tries to be as agnostic as possible, that's good. So that's why my interest is, what is this gap thing that they're going to have in the spec? Is the spec going to be, do you run everything through Redfish first to make sure it's standardized before you reference it here, or the other way around? So as long as the Redfish forum standardizes it, then it should be agnostic enough for all three parties.
Yeah, two comments I want to add on is like first one is like the reason we are bringing under OCP umbrella is so that all the GPU vendors like can support hyperscaler needs. And second thing, we are trying to open it up for like bigger OCPs, like there is a more requirements we can put into the spec. There is maybe like so that all other infrastructure provides either enterprise or cloud are part of that spec. Okay, as John said, like is all we are trying to use the redfish based, then it's not NVIDIA specific or something.
Sounds like Vilas was trying to say something. Vilas, I'd love to hear your thoughts here.
I was just going to say, I mean, I have to read the spec, obviously, before I make too many comments, right? But if, it's mostly of the form that Rama presented, which is kind of standardizing redfish schemas to discover actions and then take actions or wherever, that seems reasonable, right? I think that doesn't seem out of line, right? And so if we can all agree on them, I think that makes a lot of sense.
I hope it is more than that.
I mean, I don't know, right? That's all I saw. So
I mean, at least I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to move in the
I'd like to
direction.
read it. Yeah.
Like whenever we are using accelerator, right? We don't have very good containment solution, and we want to drive through the standardization. This our OCP kind of vehicle to define those requirements so that the vendors can start implementing.
Well, I think also error logging, right? Like if I could get some sort of CPER log out of an accelerator, that'd be marvelous. Because today you get nothing, or you get whatever the driver tells you, and the driver doesn't tell you much.
Yeah.
Rama, did you get any comments about the scope being limited to, or it's just the initial proposal, maybe just the GPUs or accelerators in general? And also, you talk mainly about PCIe only, but in future you can anticipate things like CXL attached.
Yeah. Like a few comments. Yeah, this is not just redfish schemas. Like I said, we started with common problems. First thing is getting like all parties coming to and opening it up. Initially, like which of the scope should be there, what problems to solve. There is a lot of first 2-3 months. Then like that's why these are the like top problems where everybody has it. These are the things opened up. Management interfaces and RAS and firmware update is also critical challenge, right? Under RAS, like one of the problem first to get alignment is out of band error injection, and there is a like other things identified like a error resiliency, predictive failure analysis, crash dumps. Okay, how do
Yeah.
we make it as
But
it's
Rama,
not?
but hold on a minute. Sorry to interrupt, but you're talking about this as a specification, and the redfish schemas, the stuff you presented in that table look like specifications. The things you're talking about there look more like requirements because they impose requirements on the hardware that the vendor-specific hardware is going to have to, um, implement, right? Um, I, I mean, I guess I don't fully know, but it's not clear to me that those can kind of live in the same document, right? Because those are different things, right?
Well, it
And
can. Why not?
I don't know. I
No,
mean,
no,
well, no.
they are
Okay.
different. One,
Okay.
we need an architecture, and the specs support the architecture.
Right. And so I just want to point out that I think we need to clearly spell out what you're trying to do here, right? If you're trying to specify the architecture for the redfish schema, like the redfish schemas and how you do injection and reporting and all that stuff, like that's fine. But that's different than saying, here are some requirements around, containment or isolation or whatever, right?
Okay, just to be, yeah, good question. Okay, first thing, that's why first scope we're doing this out of band error injection. That is the biggest problem we are trying to solve. Okay, and it has the schemas. Okay, and then like the architecture wise, we are not like telling, hey, do that way or this way. Like saying, hey, what are the problem statements hyperscalers face? Okay, what problems, what goals they have, what are the high level requirements, how you implement. Okay, those and all not specified. Okay, and like and yeah,
But
like
yeah, I'm sorry.
what we want.
Maybe I'm missing something, right? But these redfish schemas, if they get standardized through the redfish consortium or whatever consortium owns redfish, right?
Yes,
Like that's a spec, right? Like that's a spec that is a specific architecture and I can go, implement this particular schema to do this thing, right?
yes,
If a requirement around fault isolation, like that's not a spec, that's just a requirement. I got to go, you know, each hardware vendor has to go specify how they will meet that requirement, right? Anyway, I mean, we don't need to rat hole on this, but I just want to
yeah,
point
yeah,
out, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
OCP has a differentiation between specs and requirement stocks, right? And I think we need to be clear about which one this is. I mean, John or someone else or Yogesh who's more familiar with OCP can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I get that.
The position I've always stated is that the DMTF and the Redfish Forum describe the interface, and they describe it as in many domains as possible, but they have no prescriptive power, right? And only organizations like OCP have prescriptive power, which says, okay, out of these 100 of things, you have to implement these 50, across your interface, and that's the power of what OCP should be. DMTF defines a dictionary, and you guys pick out which words of the dictionary mean something to you as far as your use cases.
Yep. Okay. Got it.
And implementation is left up to the implementation because that's below the interface.
So
And
John,
yeah,
just carrying on the thought process, would you call that a spec or requirement?
I consider it a requirements specification. So yeah, so you define what's mandatory. So we define a dictionary, right? And you say, well, this one is mandatory, these are optional, and these you shall not do. So it's a requirement spec.
It's
I mean,
yeah,
requirement.
it's
yeah,
a requirement spec.
yeah.
Requirement spec. So requirement specification. So you're using both the
Yeah,
words.
yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
you call it requirement spec because it in fact requires normative language,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
it's just a
I like the
requirement.
idea, but I'm 100% with you, right? That's exactly how we want to position our OCP engagement discussions here, right? The requirements, you can call, it's really requirements the starting point, and then behind that the specifications. And from
Okay,
that context point
maybe
of
we
view,
are using that terms. We call about requirements only. Okay, like just say as require, like yeah. If you see the heading and all is all requirements. Okay, maybe we little bit confused you putting that. Okay, and also the main thing is not just requirements. There is a very big effort going on across like as a OCP based compliance tool. Whenever you put the requirements, hey, how many requirements meets that? Okay, there is a compliance tool as part of that. That is also open source through OCP. Okay, that compliance tool covers all the workstream areas across RAS, manageability interfaces, and the firmware updates. Okay, that is the other tool to make sure that products is not just you specify some requirements and like we want to run the compliance tool against the products and see like which are the requirements met. There is a lot of effort going on, resource
So,
effort. Yeah,
so
on that.
Redfish comes with 3 conformance test suites. One of them is actually the profile test suite. So when you define your prescriptive requirements of what is mandatory, you can write it in a JSON format, and then the interop validator will read the JSON and test your conformant implementation for you. So I hope this compliance suite is not trying to go through ground that Redfish has already done before.
Yeah. Like maybe to answer
Because
the
that's
question like this. Okay, this one is not just about defining all schemas, right? Okay, for schema purposes, you can use the Redfish tools. Okay, other than Redfish schemas, like let's say RAS, firmware update, as like other things. Like just defining schemas doesn't solve the problem. For other requirements, the additional tools, okay, is the one. Okay, we don't want to reinvent. Redfish
okay.
is supporting tools. Yeah, that is not the.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, hey guys. Brass tacks for a sec, right? What do the rest of us need to do such that we can talk about this in this forum?
Okay, good question. Like once we like the spec will be ready in July. Okay, 0.5 spec. Okay, want to get all your expert feedback. What is lacking? How do we leverage other things? Okay, and with the feedback, okay, we want to release as a 0.7 spec. The request is like contribute to 0.7 spec, identify the gaps, provide feedback. Hey, okay, it should have been done this way, that way. Okay, this is missing. Okay, uh, the request is like once the spec is available within next 10 days, provide the feedback. We can use part of these meetings, okay, to get that feedback and cover anything missed, and also provide feedback and what to be solved for future like
Yeah,
revisions of the.
that part's fine, but do we need to sign CLAs, FSAs, whatever? Because like in
uh,
this, right? I would assume that that's true, but I don't know.
okay, good question. I think that you don't need like CLS because they're opening it up uh, until 0.5. It is a CLA based, okay, and the reason they're opening it up is like anybody can participate after that. You don't need to sign the CLS.
I, I don't know that that's the concern there. I thought I'm not. We need to
Yeah,
check with the right
that doesn't
people.
sound
But
right to me. Yeah.
yeah, you sign a CLA to make sure that we aren't polluting this with IP that we're going to hold over each other, right? So the CLA is kind of important.
Like I'll reconfirm right now until 0.5 spec there is a CLA need. Okay, give me action and I'll reconfirm that. Okay, otherwise we will not be like the incubation committee meetings yesterday is like it is opening for all the vendors. Whether everybody need to sign the CLAs, I'll reconfirm. Short answer is no,
You
but I'll.
you you need to confirm whether the working group which is created in the work stream is working with possible IP. If it is, then you need to re-execute a CLA, right? The CLA FSA combination that you're signing now is to say, hey, we've done a whole bunch of work, 3 of us, 4 of us, right, together. It's a 0.5 spec. We want to contribute to OCP, so it's free and clear of our IP of us 3. Right now, it has to go into the work stream, and the work stream needs to figure out what IP structure it needs to have in order to go create the final document. And that may be CLA. You may decide, nah, that we don't want to do that. the entire document's done with Common Creative, because that everyone's in here, no one's got any IP.
Yeah,
So I
that's why
think
we are saying, good point, John. Like that is the reason they're saying for 0.5 spec FSA signing is giving up any IPs. Okay, that's why
right.
they're signing the FSA.
But the incoming work stream has to define a IP structure in which it's going to have a conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
Because if someone comes in and dilutes it with their IP and never signed the CLA, you guys are in trouble.
Yeah, that's why they're doing the FSA signing. Like maybe, yeah, we'll take a follow-up action item, and we'll try to answer that question. I'll also try to reach out to other team members. Like okay.
Okay. Yeah, just
So,
or no. All right.
so we're over time, but I just want to put a plug in. I've been working on error injection stuff, and what I'd like to do is propose a taxonomy for injecting errors, kind of abstract the errors, and I've done it for a machine. And I welcome feedback, but I'm thinking that you have kind of a error type location that implies a severity, and then there may be a persistence aspect. But maybe we can cover that next week. But please take a look if you have a chance. I'd like to get feedback, and Rama, it may tie into what you're thinking with accelerators, because you'll have this real similar errors in different places, but like especially the PCIe ones.
Especially if those errors are real errors, not the spoofing only.
I'm sorry, Anil?
Especially if those errors are real errors injection in the
endpoint. Yeah, not the root conflicts. Spoofing is what you're talking about, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And there are AER registers in the endpoints that matter. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% with you.
It's a difficult problem, but that would be something we should really drive through OCP.
And one of the things I just want to observe about PCIe is these errors are very poorly defined, yet we all run Windows or Linux, or there are a handful of OSs, a handful of VMs that we pretty much run, and they all have pretty similar requirements, but they're not comprehended by the PCIe spec. PCIe spec gives you this really wide latitude to shoot yourself. You can turn an unsupported request into a fatal error that crashes the machine, and that's the wrong answer. So there may be some room for us as a group to kind of standardize this so that it's just simpler, that we don't have to go scratch our head for each PCIe error. What do we want to do for it? So anyway, I'm just tossing this out there as part of the injection discussion, but I'd love your feedback.
I think some of the PCIe legacy taxonomy used by operating systems carried by some of it is that aspect also, not just PCIe side, I think. Yeah. But we just want to run OSs, right? So I don't even care how we're setting it. Let's just set it so our OSs work. Yeah. Well, like I don't want to drive it. I just want to make sure we all agree on it. But the injection, I do want to define a little bit more carefully. So I'd love your feedback. And if it's wrong, let's change it. I'm not married to this. I'm just trying to provoke a conversation.
Drew, are you okay if I make some edits to your document? I see something missing there.
It's actually your document, and I'm editing your document, so I think it's probably okay.
Your section, rather.
but if you don't mind marking them so that I can see where you change things, that'd be awesome. Because I want your feedback, but please change it. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll put in the suggestion mode so that you will see whatever I'm suggesting.
Okay, that'd be wonderful, and I welcome that. I'd love your help there.
Sure.
This meeting won't get over unless we hear you.
It's time for the drink.
I don't have my drink today, so. Yeah.
Well, the meeting can never end.
That's right.
All right. Happy Friday, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all. I know it took more time.
Next week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Thank you all.
See y'all later.
Next week. See y'all. Bye.